Well, good afternoon, everyone. This week on the floor of the Senate, we'll be going through the process of going to conference on tax reform. As you already know, Pelosi, Schumer, Ryan and I have a meeting with the President on Thursday to talk about the way forward on the government spending issue. What we anticipate is a 2-week CR into December 22nd, which ought to give us a little room to talk about a larger understanding about how we're going to, what the caps are going to be and the other provisions that are going to be part of the year-end spending measure. So that's the agenda for us for the week, and with that, I'll turn to Senator Cornyn.
Well, I know our Democratic colleagues have been talking about their desire to find a solution for the recipients of DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. We've indicated to them, led by Chairman Grassley, Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, that we're willing to enter into good faith negotiations, but it simply does not advance the interests of these DACA recipients to try to force us into a shutdown narrative and to jeopardize our national security and other governmental functions just in order to help these young adults. We are certainly willing to enter into those good faith negotiations, but they do not belong in a end-of-the-year spending appropriations debate. And I hope our colleagues on the other side of the aisle will take our word for it, as demonstrated by our good faith in making an offer to them that we do want to resolve this, but it's not going to be before the end of this year. There's no negative action that occurs for any DACA recipient before March of next year, and we have a couple of months in January and February to figure this out if they're willing to meet us halfway and negotiate in good faith.
Well, as the leader said, we're hoping to get tax reform across the finish line soon, and working with our House colleagues to make that happen. And the thing that's really neat about this issue is that, if you think about America has always been a place of opportunity. It's been a place where people come to build a better life. Many of us had ancestors who came here for that reason, but unfortunately, in recent years, getting ahead in America has been replaced by just getting by. We've seen sluggish growth, an anemic economy. The good-paying jobs haven't been created in this economy, and as a result of that, we've seen wages that have been flat for a long period of time. Well, we believe that our tax reform bill starts us down toward the path of changing that. We double the standard deduction, we double the child tax credit in our bill, we lower rates, deliver meaningful tax relief to middle-income families in this country. You've heard us use this a lot on the floor last week, but if you're an average family, family of four with a combined annual income of $73,000, you get a $2,200 tax cut, which represents a 60% savings over current law for that family. And with the investment that we're making in changing the tax code with respect to businesses are going to be able to invest and expand and grow their operations. And what that means is that you're going to get those higher paying jobs and those higher wages for people in this country. And we've seen a lot of analysis done on that suggests anywhere from $3,500 to $4,000 a year annually for people, households in this country in terms of additional wages. So that's what this is really about, making our businesses more competitive so they can get out there and compete and win in the global economy, create those better paying jobs, create those higher wages for American workers, and to deliver much needed tax relief to middle income families in this country. We're looking forward to getting it across the finish line, put it on the President's desk. It will be a real victory for the American people.
So last Wednesday we had a media event with several small business people involved in bigger businesses, like the guy who was there who runs a Home Depot, or the person who runs his family's salvage business. And somebody made the observation there, one of those people representing their family and their business, that if you had a less complicated tax code, one, he could spend more time doing business, less time figuring out what the tax code thinks his business should be about. But then he said, that means I can spend more time with my daughters, more time volunteering at church, the government can needlessly get in the way of so many things. We said at the very first, what we wanted to do in this tax bill was see that working families had more take-home pay and had that immediately. People in early next year are going to see those checks increase. That's when they'll know for sure that what we've been saying is what's going to happen. And we also said on the other end of the tax code, we want it to be more competitive so people have better jobs in the future. There's an open letter out there from 137 economists who say this tax code, both like the Senate model, we like it because it's the Senate model, but both of these tax codes, according to those economists, drive our economy in an extraordinarily positive way. More opportunity, better competitors, less spending time trying to comply with the technical tax code, and more believing that everybody's being treated the same way in a country that admires and rewards work and opportunity, but also appreciates family and responsibility.
Leader McConnell, I have a question about lawyers. The allegations of sexual assault for certain and you said he should resign. You reported it because you've done the same for Alabama side. Can you explain the change of heart you seem to experience?
No, there's been no change of heart. I had hoped earlier he would withdraw as a candidate. That obviously is not going to happen. If he were to be elected, he would immediately have an ethics committee case, and the committee would take a look at the situation and give us advice.
Leader McConnell, you said you anticipate a 2-week CR. I just spoke with the Speaker's office on the other side of the building, and they indicate that the date has not been set yet for the length of the CR. Are you and the Speaker and the House Republicans on the same page?
Well, the date hadn't been set yet. That's what we're talking about. My preference would be a 2-week CR into December 22nd.
Could you live with December 30th?
I don't think that's the best way to go forward.
With the Republican National Committee's decision to get financially back involved in the Alabama Senate?
Yeah, look, I've made my position perfectly clear. Let me say it again. I had hoped that Judge Moore would resign, in other words, withdraw from the race. That obviously is not going to happen. If he were to be elected, I think he would immediately have an issue with the Ethics Committee, which they would take up.
Mr. Leader.
Yeah.
Should the National Republican Senatorial Committee continue to stay out of the Alabama race?
Well, you'll have to talk to Senator Gardner, but my expectation is they will not get re-involved.
If Judge Moore is elected, would you welcome him to the Republican Congress?
My understanding is, based on a 1969 Supreme Court decision, we would have no option but to swear him in, because apparently the Supreme Court held that the only criteria are, do you meet the constitutional standard? As a member of the Senate, I've already predicted what would immediately begin to unfold, and we'll see what happens if that happens.
Would you give him a seat on committees?
I think I've pretty well covered that subject.
Are you open to raising the corporate tax rate? The president opened the doors to potentially a 22% increase over the
Yeah, no, I think the corporate rate should be at 20. Both bills reflect 20%. We think that's important to make sure we're competitive in the global economy. Thank you.
Thank you.